What's up, everybody? You are tuned into the Output with DJ Unprotected, featuring me as your host. And I know I'm super late posting this episode, okay? But it's better to show up than not even show up at all, right? So let me ask you this. Have you ever defined someone who's late as being flaky? I haven't. I'm not a flake, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I roll in a little late, and that's exactly what has happened this week with this podcast episode. But that's life, man. At least I am posting something, okay? So look, again, I'm not flaky. Sometimes I could just be late, but that's how things played out this week. But I'm glad to be here because we've got a lot of cool stuff to cover. I think so because we are jumping into Christmas season. And I know it probably started last month for, some of the listeners here. I know for me, I set up my Christmas tree last week. Actually got ended up getting a fake one. I've had real ones before, but the issue here that I find in Texas is that because the trees get shipped here, that they don't last that long. You know what I'm saying? So like my tree, the one year I set it up I think it was the first week of December, and then didn't even last till little Christmas, January 6th. I think by the New Year's Eve, the tree was dead. I had a friend over and she was like, "Your tree's dead." And I watered it every day, so I don't know what happened. But anyway, I digress. I got a fake tree. It's pretty awesome. 5 foot, scooped it up at Home Depot. Pretty solid deal. And yeah, anyway, it's pre-lit, so I didn't have to mess around with all that jazz. Funny thing, or not funny thing, but something that added a nice little touch to it, okay? Like, real trees have that, that scent, like that natural, pine scent. It's great. So I got some decorations or ornaments that you hang, but they're dipped in essential oils. So now that whole area of my fake tree smells like Christmas pine. It's amazing, I know. So anyway, it's awesome. I'm super excited. I've got, obviously you can see if you check out the video on YouTube, I've got some Christmas lights here in the studio just to spice things up. You know what I'm saying? Add a little bit flavor, inspiration to what I do in here, and it's great. So I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I really do hope that you guys were able to find some ways, whether you enjoyed it by yourselves, virtually with family, or you ended up spending time with your family members. I definitely had a good opportunity to go spend some time with a good friend of mine and his family, and it was great. Just hung out, drank beer, and had great food, and really just laughed. And it was nice to have that positive social aspect. I mean, being around thankful people, enjoying the situation, it's really nice. But before we get into continuing on this topic of finding happiness and all that jazz through this time of the year and through 2020 itself is definitely a trip, I would really like to bring up, ask you guys to show your support for this show by, if you appreciate the content and you're not already subscribing or following, please do so on whatever platform that you are catching this on. Really appreciate it. Definitely helps get this show in front of other people, and so that we can expand it and do more great things with the content that we're presenting. Another quick favor, if you got 3 seconds, let me know how I'm doing on the show. Give it a rating, 5 stars, whatever you guys think. Okay, so give it a thumbs up if you're watching it on YouTube, and if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, if you could just hit that rating or that like button, would really appreciate it. All of it absolutely does help this show. And I mean, I'm going to continue to do it anyway, but if you guys can just take 3 seconds and hook your boy up, I would absolutely be very appreciative of you doing that. Now, this week's inquisitive question, okay, because we're going into the holiday season, and you guys know what happens when you get a shitty gift that you don't like, or you get something that you already have and you don't want to tell somebody, "Hey, I already got this." But this is this week's question. What was the last gift that you regifted? Now, for me, it's been about 4 years because I usually get the things that I asked for, or I get money from family members. But about 4 years ago, anyway, I'll tell you what it is at the end of the episode, but it was relating to work, okay? And that's usually when that type of stuff happens. But yeah, ask yourself that, okay? Regifting things. So, rolling into this episode and this time of the year, finding happiness, it's a challenging time for everybody. I mean, because you got to like question when you're going to go do things socially, and like we're all distancing ourselves, and we've covered it before. And there are a lot of effects to it. Like, we are social creatures. I think it affects like sleeping. I'm sure people have been having wild dreams since all this stuff has been occurring this past year. But, when people refer to as like the new normal or whatever we've got, the truth is, it's like, it's just life and we just have to adapt. But part of that is like understanding that we're human and we've got a lot of emotions and things and ways we need to express ourselves, whether it's through being creative, through conversations, through moments of friends, through being outdoorsy, whatever it may be. Everybody's kind of a little different, but we've all got our way. But there are some ways to find happiness, small exercises that anybody can do. And so we're going to talk about that, because these small exercises and things we can bring upon ourselves for self-love can help us get through some of those like days where depression hits, or we're sad, or life, consistently gives us gut punches, or, all that stuff. Like, it happens. And, I've been doing research on some of this stuff, and from different books that I've been reading over the years about happiness and just finding that general joy in life. And it really does start with small practices. And then that happiness snowballs. So one exercise, and I know I've mentioned this before, and it's pretty common, but it's a daily thankful list. So it's kind of like, if you have a gratitude journal or you don't, maybe whatever, if you can just grab a piece of paper, a tablet, whatever you've got, I find that it's beneficial to write down the things you're thankful for with the action of your hand, pen on paper. It seems to have more of a solid, like, relationship connection to you doing it. I don't know what it is, because if you're typing, you just can be in the motions. Like, it's just how it is. But if you're writing it, I don't know. I think I've read different things about how that can be more effective. So take some time every day, just write down like 2 to 3 things that you're thankful for. And I really do believe it helps. Like, for me, coffee gets on my list every day. I've got some awesome seasonal Starbucks coffee. I brew it in my Keurig, but I will tell you that I use the reusable cup. So like, I have to clean out the coffee grinds every time I do it. But man, I feel so much better about not tossing those plastic cups in the trash, even like the recyclable ones where you got to pull the shit apart. A lot of people don't do that, but I feel a lot better not, knowing that I'm not contributing to that plastic problem. And so I just reuse it. So anyway, it tastes delicious. Okay, so coffee always makes my my gratitude list every day. Now, another thing is offering honest compliments to other people. Now, not just blowing smoke up somebody's ass, but actually like really meaning it. So if someone is, say, encouraging in a meeting, or you know what I'm saying, like maybe said some good things, you can just show your appreciation to them and be like, hey, listen, I thought that was a really nice thing that you said, and it's a good quality about you because blah, blah, blah. Like, thank you for doing that. Or if you've enjoyed conversations with somebody and maybe you needed that, like, thank them. Be like, hey, you know what? Thank you for being a good listener or a friend, or, whatever. Or you could say like, hey, man, that's a really cool shirt. Or, dude, I really like that jacket, man. Where'd you get it? Like, great style choice. Something like that. But small, honest compliments can really mean a lot and go a long way, because if you're complimenting and finding appreciation in other people, you'll also find ways to appreciate yourself. Okay. And then people will compliment you, because reciprocity and karma and whatever, it all works out that way. But the key thing is like, don't just say things to say them, because then it's like meaningless and it doesn't have like any benefit. And I think it can do more harm than good, because then people don't find you to be genuine. So like, if you're trying to compliment somebody, but it's not true, then it's not good. Like, if someone's like, hey, what do you think I could do better, or how well did I do in this meeting or this presentation? And that they stuttered and they didn't speak well, but you tell them, you know what, you actually were very clear it seemed like that you were prepared for the brief. That is not the right thing to do. That is not giving people confidence, okay? So don't do that. And another small exercise or small thing that you can do is smile more, okay? And if you're like, man, I don't smile, or we all wear masks, just find those opportunities to smile. Like, nobody has to see your smile. You just have to do it because it does, like, it's a happy moment, all right? And if you're like, man, there's nothing really to smile about, I hate where I work or whatever, like, how do you smile if someone's not telling a joke? Whatever it may be, or maybe you're introverted and you're like, that's not my style. I smile when I'm playing video games, whatever it is. But here's something you could do. It's super simple, all right? You pick a color for that day. So say you're like, hey, every time I see the color blue, I'm going to smile. Every time I see the color red, I'm going to smile, right? I'm wearing a red shirt for you guys listening to this. But if you do that, I'm telling you, like, it's a game changer. So if you're like, yo, every time I see the color blue today, I'm going to smile. So you see someone with a blue shirt, you smile. Okay. You see a blue book, you smile. Someone's background on their computer, whatever, if you work in an office space and you see blue, just do a smile. Don't be creepy about it, okay? But, offer yourself that opportunity to smile or appreciate it. And so it's something small, but there's definitely a lot of benefits to smiling more, especially in glooming times. But you could do that. And, I would love to hear how this stuff has maybe benefited you, or what colors or what techniques you use to kind of increase that. Because for me, like, I like smiling. I like laughter. You know what I mean? I like to joke around. And then sometimes in my real job, that's not always like encouraged, because it's a whole different environment. It's potentially toxic, but I just always try to find ways to laugh or make jokes or something, because it does help. Like, laughter's the best medicine. So if a piece of laughter is like smiling, then find ways to smile more. And why not? You know what? You don't even have to have a great like grill. Just smile, man. Enjoy it. So that's getting into our self-love for this week. So I hope that these things can help you. Now, we're going into this because of, obviously, like, COVID is impacting everything. I was talking to a friend yesterday about, like, taking trips or visiting each other, and like, we're planning shit probably like a year and a half out. And it's crazy to think that way, like, that I could take this trip like 2 weeks from now, but we can't. But with all that, speaking of COVID, the vaccine, okay, apparently is like right around the corner at some point, which could be like, most people may be getting this thing, or some people, but depending on how they're going to get these vaccines out there, because different companies have them. But the question is, okay, if you have the option to get it, like, would you take it? Now, I know I've seen people who are like, screw that, I'm not taking it, I'll just deal with it, whatever. But honestly, I'm under the perspective, like, sign me up, man, I'll take it. And I was talking to my dad, and I thought that he brought up a great point. He's like, man, I want to do things, and obviously, like, he's in a high risk age group. And so, but he's like, man, I want to be able to do things. I want to live life. I want to be able to go travel and fish, and, not have to worry about like getting sick or whatever. So he was like, as soon as it's available, he's getting it because he wants to be able to live his life. And I kind of like that philosophy. If you're worried about getting sick or whatnot, and there's a vaccine, like, man, go and get it. So I'm down to get it. I know that, everyone has their own thoughts on vaccine type of thing, but if there's any way that I can introduce like a way for my body to fight against this thing without taking me out, then I'm down. Like, let me get the vaccine so then I can travel and be a little less cautious on like, what I got to do. Now, I get it. I've got some friends who are in the working medical field, and they're like, look, man, young people shouldn't get sick. Like, they're not supposed to get sick, but young people, speaking like people up through their 30s, whatever, as long as they don't have like any other health conditions, like, if you don't have like autoimmune type of diseases or whatnot, like, you're not supposed to, like, if you're healthy, you're not going to get sick. You have a stronger immune system, but still, like, I would get it. I would totally get the vaccine. I'd be down so that you can travel. And like I said, it's just that less of a worry. Because have you guys ever been sick when you're traveling? Like I have, and it's pretty shitty. Like when you're you're excited on a trip, and all of a sudden, like second day into it, you just feel like ass, like sinus infection. You're just sick, got a cough, man. It's terrible. It's happened to me a couple times. But hey, so once we get on that, once it's available, man, I'm down because I want to travel. I want to be able to hang out with people and experience life. So that's my philosophy. I would love to know what you guys think about that. Hit me up on Twitter at DJ Unprotected. Let me know your thoughts. Like, vaccine drops in a couple weeks. Would you take it? Now, some people, depending on your career field, you may not have an option. You're probably going to have to do it anyway. But yeah, I mean, if you had a choice, I don't know, like, how would you guys vibe with it? I'd kind of be down, man, ready to just like figure this thing out. So, all right. So next topic, this one's a fun one. Okay. To me, it is. And, I'll be honest with you guys. Like, I don't like to lose. Losing sucks, whether it's, a sports like a sports event, or your team loses, whoever you're rooting for, or you lose a chance of getting money or whatever, or you don't win an award, you don't win a competition. Like, losing just sucks, man. Like, nobody wants to lose. But we're going to talk about this. I think it could be very fitting, okay, is how to lose like a winner. And some important topics here to discuss losing like a winner and walking away with some grace, okay? And it absolutely does suck, but if you're going to go out, okay, without being on the number one spot, you might as well go out gracefully. So I've done some research from different sources because I was looking into, how is it like, how do people expect you to lose? Like other people in the crowd, okay, anybody outside looking at you, what is the perspective of like a good loser? You know what I'm saying? Like the full picture. So, lots of the research that I got was relating, obviously because of the competitive nature relates to people in sports, but I think it can apply to any moment that you lose. So first way, okay, is to be the bigger person. How do you do that? Well, you do that by having some respect for the person that won and letting them have their moment, and then you just walk away gracefully. But, sometimes people win and they're cocky, whatever, overly confident, and maybe they're bragging, they're gloating, acting immature. Okay, it happens, right? Testosterone's high, who knows? Congratulate them, give them their elbow bump, high five, whatever you're doing. Hit them up on Twitter, congratulate them, retweet it, whatever it is, but don't engage in the negativity. If they're gloating, just, shake their hands, whatever, acknowledge their W, and then walk away. Like, that's it. Escape the situation. Because no one likes to be around that anyway, but you still gotta be cool about it. You know what I'm saying? So that's one way you can do it. The second way, all right, is to own the loss and to take that opportunity to learn from it. Now, if you don't accept responsibility from losing, then you won't be able to take corrective actions to better yourself. And I think that's where a lot of it comes from, is like being able to take a deep breath, step back and be like, okay, what can I do differently to do better next time? So if you're like playing intramural sports, say volleyball, and you end up like sucking in the heat of the moment of like you needed to be the clutch person and you mess up the shot, whether it was a bump or you didn't do the bump set spike or whatever it may be, you need to like reevaluate yourself and be like, okay, maybe I need to just focus mentally more on doing the bump set spike, or how do I do, a better set? How can I set to the better person? Or if you're in that spot ever again, like what spots do you need to be in to know that like, okay, you're going to be the set man or whatever it may be. So like, it's really just kind of taking that moment to, I don't know, like mentally prepare yourselves to be better the next time. If you do, I say intramural sports because I don't know how many professional athletes are listening to the show, but I'm sure, you guys have heard of like the young adult sports groups or whatever. It's fun. They're like social clubs. I did kickball for a while, and I know like losing sucked. But for me, and it was like one of my good friends, we were in this league, and it was cool because he would like be like, okay, how can I kick the ball better? How do I do better? Like some of these other people are kicking like these monstrous kicks, right? And he was like, how do I do it? And he was like diagnosing how to kick better. Same thing with like throwing. And like, that's what you do. Like when you lose, you're like, okay, well, how do I be like the winners? What are the winners doing? And how can I fix that? And, whatever. So I think that's where it comes down to is like, you learn from it. Like you gotta fail to succeed. And this is one of those ways to do it. But if you just lose and then walk away from it and don't take time to like make corrective actions or really analyze like how you can perform better, then dude, that's like you lost in vain. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to take your losses and grow from it and expand from it. So that's the second way you can lose like a winner. Third way is to remain true to your values, and we've all got our own values. We can talk about that some other episode of like different types of values that people have, but it's important to have values. And if you feel like you don't, then pick up a book, find out what matters to you most, and really, dive into like who you are and what drives the decisions you make and how you feel towards things and whatever, you know what I'm saying? But that's one way is to like know your values, be a positive role model, and have self-control. Self-control is very important because, yes, when you lose, you want to kick some shit, you want to walk away and say a bunch of bad words or get mad or point the blame at other people. That can happen too. And like if you have values of like loyalty, like I do, like I don't want to blame other people because how loyal is that? You know what I'm saying? Like if I could have done better, I could have done better. But like why would I blame others? You know what I'm saying? So that's one way, but it's really like, being a role model, like that self-control too, like temper tantrums, man. Nobody likes that if you're crying on the sideline. Like, there's no crying in baseball. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't do that. Like, you just move on and then cry in quiet and in peace and by yourself. But I wouldn't be crying on the side of, like intramural sport. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't do it, but that's the thing. Like, you know who you are. And if I'm not saying don't cry, I'm just saying like maybe don't cry then. You know what I mean? Because it's always awkward being around that. Like, how do you console someone on your team? You just lost and they're crying and they're blaming people. And like, you really kind of want to tell them to fuck off. Not, oh, hey, don't worry about it. We'll get them next year. Like, dude, like we're out here having fun. You want to cry and make this all about you. Our team lost, not you. You know what I'm saying? Like our team did. Like we got to come together and lift ourselves up, not be like, well, this is now all about you. No, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I've never enjoyed those situations. So like, I try not to do that. And by try, I mean, I generally don't. Like, fuck it. You're out there, you give your best. Maybe somebody drops a pass or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, encourage, lift people up. Help build their confidence. I would hate to cuss somebody out on a day that they were already having a bad day, and here I am telling them that they suck more. No, I'm trying not to do that. I want to boost people up because you just never know fully what's going on, and it's better to be positive. I can't say I was always that way, but as I've been on my quest to find a lot of inner peace and happiness, I definitely have more, like I've definitely preferred to like lift people up in moments where like team losses occurred. You know what I'm saying? So, and the fourth way to lose like a winner is to don't quit. Like just don't quit. You know what I mean? Like losing doesn't make you a loser. It just offers an opportunity to learn some humility and also find ways to improve. But I think that like losing, like you can become a loser if you're just like, fuck it, you toss in the towel and like you just don't care anymore, even before a game's over or whatever. Like you're supposed to give your best the whole time and not just say, screw it, we're done. Like even if you're getting your ass kicked. Losing gracefully also means putting in your best effort until the end, not just tossing in the towel. I don't think that's very graceful. I don't, like some people may argue, well, it's saving energy, but what if you were winning? Like you would have probably kept your energy high. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at with like that. You just can't quit, man. Like you got to keep moving forward, and no matter how many times you fail, you lose, or whatever it may be, or if you just lose, like, you just don't quit, man. Be positive and move on. And maybe you get that inclination that, like, or some inner type of guidance that, hey, maybe this isn't for me. Let me pursue something else. That's fine. Just don't completely give up on yourself. Still believe in yourself. Um, but yeah, so just don't quit, man. Losing doesn't make you a loser unless you choose to do that with actions afterwards, right? But it's an interesting philosophy for sure because one of my favorite motivational speakers, he goes by E.T. Eric Thomas. He's the hip hop motivator. Dude's great. He always says winners win. And I think that's about a mentality. Like, winners win because they always find a way or an opportunity to get the best out of that situation, to put in their best effort. Winners put in their best effort. They train hard. They work hard. You know what I'm saying? And when you train hard and you work hard, like, you have to do that even if you're losing. Like, if you're losing in a game or you're losing in whatever opportunity you're involved with, man, you still have to put forth your best effort. And yeah, it does suck. And sometimes you have to take some deep breaths and push your way through it. It's like, like working. I remember in some of my college assignments, I felt like I was losing because, like, shit was like, I didn't want to do it. And it was like mentally wearing me down, like doing a research paper on business or a project I didn't want to do. Like, when I was doing game design, like, I really didn't want to spend hours programming these sounds that I created to this game simulator. Like, that shit took hours of watching step-by-step videos of how to do it. And if you miss a step, it messed everything up. And so when it messed something up and you had to backtrack several hours, man, that was frustrating. But I had to push through it, and I didn't want to do it, but you got to get it done. Sometimes at work, that's like the paperwork you don't want to do. You know what I'm saying? But it's pushing yourself through it, not quitting. Sure, you may feel like you're losing, but you still have to put in the effort and just get it done and move on. You know what I'm saying? But I like that attitude of winners win because it's a positive attitude. It's an outlook of saying, hey, I'm going to get done what I need to get done to accomplish my goals. Even if, like, losing right now sucks, it'll still help me get steps forward of, like, winning, man. Anytime you can, like, evaluate and analyze yourself and grow and find ways to work harder, that's ways to win, right? So, just a lot of things have been happening lately, just in life, the things we see on the news, and I thought it'd be cool to cover the topic of, like, how to lose like a winner. And because I hate losing, and it happens, and I've lost a lot this year. Like myself, not like lost things or people, but dude, I lost opportunities. Like, I got told definitely more no's than I have yeses, but I've also been doing a lot more since then. So I think, like, it's all worked out. It's been great. You keep driving through it. So I have a winning mentality. So, all right. So next topic, latest social media goodies. Okay. Because we all are on our phones. I mean, when I'm not working, like, my screen time is up. Recently, I've talked about this before, but I wanted the iPad. I needed one. I had, like, second generation from, like, 2011 or 2012. That shit, I couldn't even watch YouTube anymore while cooking and whatnot. So I wanted to get a new one. So I got the iPad Pro. I've saved for it. I mean, I think that's always important. Like, you have to budget for the things you want, in essence. And I think saving is cool because it's like another form of discipline, right? Like, you really want something, you get it. So anyway, I got the iPad Pro because I feel like I am on my phone a lot, like handling business or putting down topics or research or looking into things for the show or my music stuff. Like, there's no way about it. Like, you have to be on your phone unless you have, like, a PR person, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not at that level yet, but like, you're going to always be doing some type of networking or marketing. Okay. So with that, like, I want to talk about some social media updates that have been happening. One, Twitter has introduced or reintroduced the stories function, but I think it's called feed or something. I forget what it's called, but now that expands, like, the opportunity to reach more people because Twitter obviously has different algorithms than Facebook and Instagram. So I think it's more like on the Snapchat lines. Like, if you follow the people, you're going to see all their shit. Whereas, like, Instagram, you're not going to see it. Like, it's more of the more recent people or people on your feed who have been getting most of the action. Like, those are the live stuff you're going to see. But no one's really cracked Instagram's algorithm. So who knows? They keep that shit pretty close hold. But I think it's cool that Twitter did that because it's such like a different market that, you know what I mean? Like, you could post something, hashtag it, and it's automatically like into the recent activity. Okay. And then if people choose to see top posts, they can see that. So I think Twitter's cool, but this is just another like tick in the game. So now it's like, you know, I wish there was like an all, you know, a be all app, like a Insta Twitter face, or what did my buddy say, an Insta Twitter book or something like that, like to where you could just post and send it to all of them. But I don't know if you'd want to do that because like I think that I can get more of a type of like music followers, like new followers and stuff like that on Twitter. If I like post that I'm like in the mix live or something, like going live on Twitch, I put it on Twitter, like maybe house music fans or, you know, techno fans like may see it and then go and pop in. Whereas like, you know, it's a different type of fan base on Instagram. So I don't know, like I think that's kind of cool. It This is good coffee, by the way. And just a caveat, I don't have any, this is not an Irish coffee. There's no liquor in this thing. So, au naturel on this coffee venture. Oh, okay. So back to the social media thing. Like, so when these companies do this, and I think Twitter had this before, they may have been one of the first ones to add that story function, but it's just interesting that they're bringing it back. It definitely like requires some more like marketing strategy for like business aspects and outlooks, like knowing the different fan bases because you have to know your audience. Like I said, I wouldn't post the same thing on Twitter live feed that I would on the Instagram feed because I think the fan base and audience, however you want to look at it, is different. But I also know like my Twitter account is just some other beast in general. I have definitely followed some wild people in the 12 years that I've been on Twitter, and I'm kind of glad that I can't bring my phone to work or whatever because I think some of the content is NSFW, not safe for work for sure. So I'm not sure why. Like people can just post risky stuff, and as long as like you've confirmed following an account and that they post like maybe 18 plus material, that's what they're saying, like boom, you never know, like boobs on my Twitter feed just pop up, and some of it is like go-go dancers or people like, you know, have like posted or been at like raves and like dancing, just part of the community, like of my, you know, DJing career. Like those are people I follow because I like to see what's going on with festivals and whatnot. But some of those go-go dancers have turned to like OnlyFans and other things to like expand their income base or whatever they do. And then boom, you get like very risque photos like on my Twitter feed. So yeah, it's a whole other beast, but hey, whatever. You know what? Beauty is different. You know what I'm saying? It's a form of art. So we'll leave it at that. But I'm curious, like, you guys, who uses Snapchat? You know, I would like to know because I see some of my friends are active on there. Like, I just don't have the time to jump between that many platforms of Instagram to Snapchat to whatever. I mean, I think I've made like some friends, like when you meet people, I think it's easy to connect on Snapchat or whatnot, but I would probably prefer the Instagram route. Um, but I just don't get the same type of engagement on Snapchat. And I don't even know like how many followers I've got. I've got the account, it's there, but you know, I don't know. Like the engagement or views, I think that it would be like Instagram, Twitter, and then Facebook. And Facebook's just like weird unless you've got like tens of thousands or 100,000 followers. Like very small percentage of people are going to see your content unless it goes viral. And if it goes viral, they're probably going to find something to block it because they're stingy. So anyway, that's my rant on that. But I don't know. Like I've done research, looked up DJs, you know, professional DJs and people in my industry, and you just don't see them that active. Like I haven't seen them that active on Snapchat. So, but I know that Snapchat, stock is rising. I got that in a Webull. Like, if you guys have heard of Webull. Now, quick caveat, I am not a financial advisor at all. This is me telling you my story with this. So, relating to Snapchat. So, I'd signed up for Webull. It's like an investment app that you can do to like buy stocks, kind of like Robinhood. I have Robinhood. I got Webull because they were offering like free stocks at the time when I signed up. I got like 3 free stocks. Well, one of them was Snapchat. It was like at the time was worth like $1.70. That thing's like worth over $20 now. So that's like pretty crazy. But so I know they're doing well. It's probably because of the cool little quick shows that they have, like the Born Different. That was always fun to watch. And, some of the other things or the celebrity quick snaps and whatnot, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's doing well with the advertisements and the videos because seriously, you get like every 15 or 30 seconds, you get like a 5-second video and you have to watch that video. You can't just fast forward through it. So I think from an advertising standpoint, they probably do pretty well because if they can prove that somebody's watching content, then someone's going to pay to get that 5 to 10 seconds because you have to watch it. Like YouTube, you can skip through stuff most of the time. So I don't know. That's my thoughts. Like, hit me up on Twitter at DJ Unprotected. Let me know, like, what's your favorite social media platform? Which one are you vibing with? You know what I mean? Like, let me know. Also, very curious, like, is there a social media app that traps you, okay, and makes you waste some quality time on their app? For me, it's the Facebook videos. You know what I'm saying? You watch one video and then it brings you to that, like the second tab at the bottom, like the Facebook Play or whatever it is. Dude, the Pawn Stars videos, man, always lure me in because they're only like maybe 5 minutes long. They edit them to like really short. And I may watch a couple while I'm using the bathroom, but then 45 minutes later and 15 State Farm ads, like, I realized I probably didn't need to waste that much time watching like about historical items being sold into a pawn shop or whatever. So being pawned. But hey, we've all got a weakness. I try to work on it. But man, if there is one that's going to catch me and lure me in, it is those Facebook videos all day. So I don't know. It just happens. That's what gets me. I want to know what gets you guys because I know we all got that social media vice, something that pulls us in and you're like, damn, like, did I really just burn an hour of my time doing that shit? Very possible. So there was one more thing relating social media that popped up this week. Google adds a L'Oreal lipstick filter. Seriously, nobody wants that. Nobody wants a L'Oreal lipstick filter, okay? Nobody asked for it, like for real, but they launched it and that shit's crazy. Go Google. I guess. I don't know. It's a little bit late. What was that one song? My lipstick is flossy. My lipstick is cool. Would have been great back then. Google, not now. So, okay. Rolling on to the intriguing question as we are wrapping up this show. What was the last gift you re-gifted? Because you know it's holiday time frame. It's going to happen. Okay. You get the candle you don't like. Maybe you get a shirt that you already got. I don't know. But for me, okay, it has been about 4 years, but I did it, all right? It happened at a work gift exchange. Okay, somebody at work got me a puzzle thinking it would be cool, and it was like, I like puzzles, okay, but the issue was 500 pieces. Okay, not the 500 pieces was the issue, but the problem was that the colors were going to be very hard for me to determine where they should go by. I'm color vision deficient, got this red-green thing going on. And so I was like, I looked at this image and it was like, it was cool. It was kind of like a field. So you had like, I don't know, those beige and the orange, red, whatever, supposedly. But this field and the trees and shit next to it looked exactly the same to me, like same color. So I was like, this is going to be challenging. So I got the puzzle, and then I ended up regifting it into another exchange. So sue me, okay? It would have been overly challenging. I like challenging puzzles. I always want to do, like, I do want to complete one of those, like, black and white ones. I like challenging puzzles. I do, but not ones that, like, I can't see, and that would just frustrate the shit out of me. trying to figure out the pieces, because it just depends. Like, you're looking at designs, at patterns, maybe the colors, to figure out where the pieces are going to go. But if you can't see the colors or make out the designs, then like, dude, you're shit out of luck. And that would have been me. So it would have been a struggle. So you know what? I regifted that joint. But that's what talk about that with your coworkers or friends this week and find out what was the last gift that they regifted. We've all done it, man. It happens, okay? So, listen, this has been a great episode. Again, I apologize to everyone. I mean, I really don't have to apologize. I did the episode, okay? I know it was a little late, but I appreciate you for tuning into the Output with me, DJ Unprotected. This podcast is presented by Aztec Nation. I hope you're picking up what we're putting out. We've got a lot to say, so tune in on your favorite streaming platform like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, however you listen to it. Catch me next week for a brand new episode. I will see you next week. Have a great week. I know I was late on this one, but I did it, baby. Not a flake, all right? So we will see you next week. It's my bad, but we out.